looking at setting up the Sunday worship service for ProPresenter. So if ProPresenter is not yet up, you'll want to come down here and click on ProPresenter. Once you click on it, a dot will appear underneath, and that dot means it's in the process of opening, and then you'll want to wait until it opens. Once ProPresenter is up, you'll notice that there's slides here, there's words here, there's pictures here. If all of these boxes are not open, it just means that one of these up top needs to be clicked if you need it. But if they're open and just have no words, that means it's not completely open yet, which is okay. But once it is open, we want to come down here to the corner. In the playlist, the top one usually says Sunday, and that's the one we just reuse every week. And so we're going to right click on the top song and we're going to remove everything on the playlist so that we can add this week's stuff. So let's remove all those. And then when we get to anything with a colorful dot next to it, leave it there because it lets us arrange or organize the list in such a way that we can easily find stuff. Okay, so now you'll also want to open up the song list on your smartphone or tablet. You can also log into Planning Center using Safari. This is the internet on Mac. So you could log into your Planning Center that way. Or you can just go to Music Stand, and then you'll be able to click and scroll through all of the songs that way. That way it's really nice and easy. The other way to do it is you could go to Services, the Services app. This is all Planning Center, Services, Planning Center, Music Stand. And I'm going to go down here to Schedule and then click on This Week. And then you'll be able to see all of the orders here. And you'll have to click on each individual song and then click on each file individually. That's why I would suggest everyone get Planning Center Music Stand so that you can just swipe through each song one after the other and don't have to find it all. And up here in the library, we are going to just start typing in the song. Praise You Anywhere is our first song this week. Praise You. Okay, Praise You Anywhere. So let's go scroll down to P. There's a lot of songs that say praise you. So every song that says praise you, even just in the lyrics, is what comes up in that order. So we have Praise You Anywhere. We just click on it so it's blue. Then we click and hold and drag it down into the playlist at the top. And now it's the first song. So we just keep doing that for each song in the playlist. So Glorious Day, there it is. Click and drag. Next one is Goodness of God, there it is. So we're going to click and make it blue, then we're going to click and hold and drag it down into the order. And you'll notice that blue line pops up, so you can drop it right where you want it. So Yeshua, you'll notice when I write it in there, there's nothing in the library, nothing in Song Select. And that is because this is a new song, so it hasn't been created yet. And then Song Select right now, if it's not connected to the internet, which right now it is not, will not give you the option to upload it. So I'll show you that in a later video when we're able to do that again. So we're going to have to make Yeshua a new song. So before I show you how to do that, I'm just going to show you how to set up the whole thing, and then we'll come back and do a different video for adding a new song. All Who Are Thirsty, looks like it was 2019 the last time we did it here. And that is it that we have on that list for this week. And then if you go back to, when you tap in the middle, it gives you your bar so you can go back and you look at so Yeshua, and then All Who Are Thirsty is at the end of the service. So we will move All Who Are Thirsty to after the sermon so that everything's in order. Okay, and then now we're going to focus on this section here. For example, Praise You Anywhere. So if we look at the words in Praise You Anywhere, sometimes you gotta dance through the darkness, sing through the fire, praise when it don't make sense. And so the first rule for making slides for worship is every line needs to have a capital letter. So I'm glad this didn't, so I could show you. And then you want to try to have one thought on each line, but we also want it to be big so everyone, even those that have trouble seeing, can see it. So sometimes you've got to dance and that's just too much stuff. So we are going to have a second line for that line. And then we're going to right click and quick edit. There's other ways to edit, but this is the only one we need right now. And then we just click until there's that cursor there and make it a capital. Sometimes you've got to dance through the darkness and there are no commas unless it's for a really good reason in the middle of a line, but we don't need any commas at the end of lines when we're doing worship. So sometimes you got to dance through the darkness, sing through the fire, praise when it don't make sense. That's good. And so we're done with that. So we click that. We close it. Then next line is sometimes you've got to stare down the giant, comma, worship from the lion's den. So sometimes you've got to, I would put stare down the giant. So I'm going to delete this little s, delete this space, press return, and then a big S. Stare down the giant, and that's one concept. Worship from the lion's den. Now that slide looks good. Now, as a rule, when we're doing slides that are this kind of shape, if you're at like a bigger church with a way huge screen, they might have one line for the words or two lines. Because we don't have huge screen, we have nice decent sized TVs. We want to try to have 4 lines or whatever makes sense for the movement of the song. So like this whole slide right here is 5 lines. That's a lot of lines. 5 isn't too bad. When we get to 6, you want to look at it and see, is there a way to do 3 and 3? Because that would just be better than 6. But 3, 4, or 5 is really our goal. Lines, preferably 4. But here you see there's 5 lines. If we put one of these lines on this top of this slide over on this other slide, from the top here, on this other slide, then they both have 4, but this slide would be missing really the first part of the line because this whole slide is really just one long line. And then this slide would have like the beginning of the next line on it. So that would be weird. So it'd be better to just have 5 slides. Now, if there were 6 lines, you would just make 2 out of this one slide. Sometimes you've got to welcome the wonder, wait for the answer, worship with your hands in the air, I'll praise you anywhere. Sometimes you've got to, let's make the welcome a large W. Welcome the wonder, comma. So now, whenever there's a comma, you just delete the comma and make a new line. Wait for the answer. This really is too long because once I make this into the lines we want, then it's going to be 6. So what we're going to do is take you to a new spot. So up at the top here, you're going to want to come over here and find the red box that says edit or editor underneath it. And when you click on editor, then the screen changes and one slide at a time will come in the middle. I was already selected that slide we were working on, so it's here. So to add a second slide where we want it, we click on the slide where we're editing, and then we just come right down here and press the plus sign. And then automatically a blank slide pops up in the same format as the slide we clicked on. So what I'm going to do is just come over here, make sure there's a box around. So if see how there's no box, you click one time. Now there's a box. Now on the keyboard, if you do Command C, it'll copy it. And so then we can come over here, and when we click in here and there's a box just one time, we can press Delete on the keyboard. So that box goes away, and then we can press Command V to paste. And then that slide shows up here again. Now, since on slide 4, 4 and 5 look exactly the same right now. So on slide 4, I'm going to keep those top 3 lines and delete the bottom 2, and then make sure there's no other spaces above or below it, because we don't want to have an extra space and then it gets off from being symmetric in the middle, and that can sometimes be a distraction for people. And then we want to delete the top 3 lines. So here we go. Worship with your hands in the air. I'll praise you anywhere. So since I'll praise you anywhere is a second thought, we're going to make that a different line. So now worship with your hands in the air. Here's another rule. We don't want to leave just one word on another line, and we also want it to kind of make sense in the flow of the sentence or part of a sentence. Worship with your hands in the air. Worship with your hands in the air, or worship with your hands in the air. Worship with your hands in the air. Worship with your hands in the air. Any one of those would be fine. I'm going to do hands. So there's a lot of options there. So you could go worship with your hands in the air. I'm going to do worship with your hands in the air. Any one of those would be fine since it's not really a great natural place. And then again, making sure all of the first letters are uppercase. And now we can close editor. Now we have 5 slides there. So if you look at how this is laid out, this is verse 1, it's highlighted in blue. Now the chorus is all highlighted in red. Okay, now one other thing I want to show you real quick. Go over here. This tab that looks like a TV with 3 TVs underneath it, that is the arrangement tab. Everyone say it with me, arrangement tab. And so when you open this, if it's in the master, it'll just have these grayed out bubbles here. And then under here, it'll say select arrangement and have no bubbles. So we want to normally put it on the normal arrangement. Also, if it's a new song, we want to create a normal arrangement. And all this is this is the order that we normally do the song. So like for instance, we have verse 1 here, and we have chorus 1 here, but then we do chorus 1 again here, and then we do chorus 1 again here. And the only reason we created a chorus 1 ending, chorus 2, praise, give him praise in the highest. So we come up here. So that's the same as chorus 1. So instead of just making a whole nother part, we just are using chorus 1. So that's why we have the chorus 1 and chorus 1 ending. So we can just keep using that same thing and not have even more bubbles than we already do. So otherwise, we would have just made chorus 1 and the chorus 1 ending all one thing together. And then chorus 1 ending. And then bridge. So you can slide the bubbles. Let's say we want to normally do the verse twice in a row. You would just click and hold and drag that bubble. And now you have 2 verses in a row, and it changed it here. See how now it's verses here and verses starts there again. But we don't really want to do that, so we'll just click and close. So anytime you're not actually working with editing and it's like just Sunday morning, I would suggest not having this open so that you don't X out one of these by accident, and then the song will no longer be in perfect order for you. Now that's to say we don't always stick to perfect order, but normally when I lead worship, this is Pastor Courtney speaking, I will sing through almost all, if not the entire song, and then add extra things at the end. So you should be able to click through without a problem. And a different video will talk about how to do this. Right now we're just doing setup. So to close that, so it's out of your way, and so you don't delete any by accident, you just click on the arrangement tab again, and then it goes away. So like I was saying, if there's a good reason for the comma, praise, give him praise, that makes sense. But here we want to get this give on a different line. So praise, give him praise in the highest. So in the highest fits on one line, but since there's kind of a pause and we have room, we could make another line. And then anytime we're going to do a repeat, we want to have that repeat at the bottom. And instead of ×2, we're going to write repeat in large letters. So you can do that by pressing the caps button and writing it, and then caps button to turn it off. Or you can just press shift and type the letters out, and then they'll come in uppercase. R-E-P-E-A-T. I pressed an enter there. And then if it's 2 times, it would be 2x. Repeat 2 times. You could do an uppercase X or lowercase. I like different ones depending on the day. So now we know we're going to sing that twice. So when you're reading through it and clicking on the slides, which we'll explain what and how to do that later, you'll see that repeat, so you'll know to not go to the next slide quite yet. And you want to be making sure it matches your music. He is worthy. Yes, he is worthy of all the praise. So since it's in parentheses, if you notice that we don't sing that word yes, I would suggest deleting it. He is worthy. Yes, he is. And if we do say it all the time, there's just no reason for the parentheses. So and there's only 2 lines on this slide, so we can separate the thoughts out. He is worthy. Then worthy of all the praise really goes, worthy of all of the praise. So you could do, yes, he is worthy. You could have the worthy on this line too. So it's not like it's wrong. It's just kind of my judgment call. Just because of the way the song is. Yes, he is worthy. Yes, he is worthy of all of the praise. So it seemed like there was a longer pause between the is and the worthy than between the worthy and the of. So it just made musical sense to have the line change where the pause was. So that's where you want to also use your ears during practice when you're setting this up. Or if you're doing this at a different time, playing the song on YouTube on your phone or something. For continuity's sake, we're going to bring this line. So we're going to Control, copy, or X. It'll make it, it'll cut it. And then make sure we delete. See how that cursor's on that underneath the words? We want it to be right in the same. Don't want any extra lines. And then we will come over here, right click, quick edit. It'll switch it over if you just go to quick edit. You don't have to close and then switch over. And then close that out. Now it has the 3. Sometimes you've got to stand on your shackles, brave in the battle, worship with your hands held high. I'll praise you anywhere. So we're right here in the song. I'll praise you anywhere. And then the next page, praise, give him praise in the highest. So verse 2, that's the one we just did. There we go. And then it goes right from worship with your hands held high. I'll praise you anywhere. He is worthy. So we're missing this whole praise, give him praise part. So we need to go to our arrangement tab, which we turn on by clicking that button there. And we're looking for verse 2. Right after verse 2, we're missing the chorus. It says, if we look here, it has the praise, give him praise in the highest 2 times. And then he is worthy of all praise. And then there's a repeat after that. So that means this whole thing repeats twice. So we want to make sure we have chorus 1, chorus ending, and then another chorus 1, and it's not there. So we need to drag it in because the whole thing goes twice. Okay, so the big thing is we really want to make sure that we're following here. So at the end of this song, it has praise, give him praise 2 times. So that's the chorus. So that's after the bridge. So we want to have praise, give him praise 2 times. That's good. And then after that, he is worthy of all the praise. And then we have he is worthy of all the praise. And then it says mountain or valley is next. And I don't see that here. So we could add those slides. So it makes sense to add it to after he is worthy. So editor automatically is there. Press the plus button. And so that it will go up. And the line is mountain or valley, I know you are with me. In strength or in suffering, I know you're with me there. So I typed it in. Mountain or valley, I know you are with me. In strength or in suffering, I know you're with me there. And then anytime it's a you or a you or anything pertaining to God, we want to make it uppercase. And again, this line's by itself, and I put a period. Oh man, so I gotta delete that period. I know you're with me there. And getting rid of that period made it all on the same line, so that rocks. And we're to give this a name because it's over here, and it just, when you click on it, it just adds it as another slide in that same section. And this really isn't gonna be part of that chorus ending every time, just at the end. So we right click, new group, and then we're gonna create a new group. So we're gonna do other, because this doesn't really exist. And we're gonna call it chorus ad lib. And we're gonna make it red because the chorus is red. And then we're gonna double click save the label. We do not want to save this label because it's something that's kind of out of the norm. And so then we're gonna close editor. And then when you come back here, you'll notice you created that and it's right here It's not throughout the whole thing, it just only put it in that one spot because you gave it its own group. If you hadn't given it its own group, you wouldn't see chorus admin bubble here, and then every chorus one ending that you see would have this mountain or valley part added to it. And then he is worthy repeats. Doesn't say how many, so we just put repeat and kind of pay attention. So he is worthy, repeat. Of course, we could make it all uppercase. Whatever one repeat says in a song, you want to do with the others. So if they're uppercase, then make them all uppercase. And since this is uppercase, we'll use that, make that uppercase. And then, so that repeats, we don't know how many times, so you'll need to watch the leader for that. And once they start saying, yes, you are worthy, then that looks like that repeats, you are worthy, you are worthy, you are worthy of all praise. So again, over here, it says that repeat. So there's a couple ways to do that. If the line is short, you could do it this way. Normally, if you're just repeating one line, you're gonna want it underneath, and then you're going to want to put a space between the next line so that it's very clear what is repeating. Then that looks nice. We know we're repeating this, and then we're going to sing that. So basically, you want to go through and do that for all of the songs. Most of the time, if it's a song we've done before, like Glorious Day, all of these words already have uppercase and no punctuation. You'll notice over here, there's 6 lines. So now your mercy has saved my soul. Now your freedom is all that I know. The old made new, Jesus, when I met you. So here you wouldn't want to do 3 and 3 lines. You'd want to do 4 and 2, because is all that I know is from the previous line. And we go back to editor. We're on that already. Gonna press the plus button. We're going to come over here, copy this, just copy. Then come over here and delete this box that's already there so we can paste ours on the first one of the 2 slides that are the same. We're going to delete the ending, make sure there's no extra lines. On the second slide, that was the same. We're going to delete just the beginning. Make sure there's no extra lines. When you are setting this up, make sure it says normal here in the arrangement tab. And then of course we want to go through the song Glorious Day and make sure it is in order. And so then we have Goodness of God. Have you noticed the font looks different? So I'm going to go to Goodness of God, see that font, and then you go to All the Thirsty, that font. So that's an older song, so we want to So click on one slide and then press Command A, and that's same as Control All on IBMs. So Command A on the Mac, and now that you'll see that blue line popped up around all of the slides. So that's just the Select All. Command A, Select All, basically. And then we want to go over here to Template, and then go to Normal, and then click on this top template. And then it'll automatically put this song in the current template we're using for most of not all of our songs. Now if you notice, look at this first slide and this second one, they look a little not in the center. So let's do a quick edit. Yep, there's an extra space on the bottom. So let's get rid of that extra space. Come over here, quick edit. And there's an extra space on that one too. So you want to have your eye out for that kind of stuff. And then of course it doesn't say normal. So let's see if there is a normal arrangement. And then cogwheel, normal, perfect. And then we, of course, double check and make sure this order is correct. Now, the very last thing to setting this all up is we want the slide to be the same on every song. Unless you're going to go through and make sure each song has a slide that like really goes with that, I tend to just kind of stick with whatever the weather's like outside. Not that we want it to be rainy and gloomy, but if there's snow on the ground, have some beautiful snow stuff. If there's changing leaves outside, have some beautiful autumn leaves stuff. But right now there's a little snow, so I'm just going to pick a snowy background, and every song is going to be changed to the same slide. Every church doesn't do it this way. I've found it just makes it not feel disjointed when it's all the same background. That is how you set up the playlist for Sunday. Thank you so much. Enjoy. Have fun.